In today's video, I'm going to show you the Aqara Double Rocker Smart Wall Switch H1, which will finally stop your family from switching off light switches and killing your smart home dead. But it also means that I can do this. This smart switch does not require a neutral wire, which is ideal for me as I live in the UK, and most houses don't have a neutral wire. But if you are in the US, then Aqara does also do a version of this switch that does include a neutral wire. The Aqara Double Rocker Smart Switch is compatible with Amazon Alexa, Apple HomeKit, Google Assistant, and if this then that. The H1 Smart Switch uses Zigbee 3.0, which means that it does require a Zigbee hub. I would personally recommend picking up an Aqara hub. I have the Aqara M2 Hub, but there are cheaper options like the Aqara USB Hub E1 if you would like to opt for that one. Or if you are more familiar with Home Assistant, then you could use an alternative Zigbee hub. But I can only recommend the Aqara hub because that is the one I use and I have had zero issues with it. So why should you buy it? Well, smart switches are a really good idea if your family is anything like mine and constantly switches your light switches off, which kills all your smart bulbs and your automations. This can be really frustrating when I ask Amazon's voice assistant to turn the lights on my media wall, just to realise that they have been switched off at the wall and they're not going to work. But this isn't the only reason to pick one up. If you had a light fitting with lots of bulbs on, then you could cost yourself a small fortune in smart bulbs. But with a smart switch, you're able to have all these lights turn on and off in your routines or with your voice without ever having to change a bulb. So what's in the box? In the box you get the instructions, you get the double rocker smart switch, you get 2 sets of screws at different lengths, so you just use whichever you need depending on the distance to your switch's back box, which is handy. One bonus with the smart switch is that I didn't have to replace the switch's back box. Most smart switches will require you to dig deeper into your wall, and then you would usually need to buy a back box with more depth. But luckily this wasn't an issue and the switch fitted the existing back box with no problem. On the back of the H1 switch you have 3 connections. L is for your live wire, L1 is for switch 1 and L2 is for switch 2. So if you are going to install the Aqara Double Rocker Smart Switch and you know what you are doing and you're confident with electrics, then make sure that you turn your power off on your fuse box before getting started, and then check it with a multimeter to be sure that it is off, as depending on who wired your fuse box, switching it off may not be enough and it could still be live. I don't have many viewers and I want them all to be safe. So if you're not sure, then I would recommend getting a qualified electrician, as electric is extremely dangerous and can be fatal. This should only take them a few minutes to install, so it shouldn't be too expensive. Onto the setup. Once the switch is installed, you'll be able to control your lights without any connection to the hub, which is really useful in case your internet connection goes down and you still want to be able to switch your lights on and off. They will still work as a normal switch. When you first use this switch, you will notice that the lights on the switch are red. This just means that the switch is not yet paired. So to add this switch, you're going to want to open the Aqara app and add device. Then select the Double Rocker H1 No Neutral Light Switch. The app will then begin searching for the switch. To put the switch into pairing mode so that it can be found by the app, you simply want to hold down the switch for 5 seconds until the light begins to flash blue. This means that it's in pairing mode and the Aqara app will be able to find it. So what's wrong with it? So the only negative that I can say about this smart switch is that it would be good if it could be used to trigger routines in the Alexa app. It can be used to trigger automations in the Aqara app, so depending on how integrated your smart home is into the Aqara ecosystem, this may not be an issue for you, but it would have been handy to have this feature in the Alexa app. It's not a deal breaker though, as this switch works with if this then that, so you are able to trigger routines this way, like you've seen at the start of this video. So what are my thoughts after having this in my home for the last week? I think it's great. I'm now able to automate my main light fitting in my living room that I couldn't do before, and I'm able to set routines for both the main light and my media wall lights. On top of that, I no longer longer have to worry about my family switching the light switches off and killing my smart bulbs. Now, I know that smart switches don't always work well with smart bulbs. I can honestly say I've had zero issues. I use the IKEA Tradfri smart bulbs on my media wall, and they seem to be working just fine since I've installed this switch. All the routines and automations that I had set up still work just like they did. If you are thinking about adding Aqara products to your smart home, then be sure to check out my Aqara Smart Blinds Roller Shade Driver review. That video is here. Thank you for sticking with the video until this point, and until next time, thanks for watching.